Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of The Strain, Madness. And this is going to be my last review of The Strain, because it has just gone so kind of bad in my opinion. And it's not even like bad, like kind of really bad that it's kind of good kind of way. It's just, you can tell that they're trying, but they don't understand what they're trying to do to make it good. Because this is like a really good example of why The Strain just doesn't work sometimes. And this is just, I wouldn't recommend really watching it, only watching it if you want to have kind of like just something to fill the time almost, because it doesn't really respect your time trying to go through it, because this one had a mishmash of kind of stuff that eventually connected together, but it was just like, okay, I knew all this stuff pretty much when I was figuring it out 15 minutes ago. Why aren't you guys acting on it? So it started out kind of showing Ephraim and Dutch kind of doing stuff, and it's like really kind of weird. They kind of work together. Dutch isn't really completely useless or doing some kind of weird going through that she is the one of the people responsible for the outbreak, taking down the internet and all that. But it's just like they're only together because the writers didn't know what else to do with them. And evidently Ephraim needed an assistant because they start like hazing Strigoi and taking him back to perform experiments and stuff on him. And it's like, okay, interesting. We also get flashbacks of Satrakian pretty much trying to track down Icorst, which we had last season, which I don't know why they keep using this season, except this one was used to kind of show that he was trying to do a transaction to sell the Lumen to try and get Icorst out of hiding so he could kill him, but found another Strigoi instead, who was another former Nazi as well, and he pretty much trapped him, chopped off his arms and legs, put him in a kind of case that could fit the rest of his body, and threw him into the ocean. And that only was back to what was going on with Satrakian and Quinlan looking through the book, and they've still got distrust because evidently only Satrakian can be hunted and fixated with the Master, which even Quinlan was talking about looking through the Lumen stuff, which he had photocopied out of the book and kept it in the safe. It's like, it's bound in silver. I doubt Quinlan's gonna be able to like knock you out and then just completely run off with it, because he's gotta do some planning to do it, because the sunlight's out, for crying out loud. He's not gonna be able to, he's gonna need to prepare to do it in order to do it, and his main goal is to destroy the Master. So trust him and do better communication. I hate it in shows when they do things of really stupid miscommunication or no communication whatsoever, which leads to drama that's not relevant to the plot, but used to make the plot more tense or kind of more interesting in the writer's opinion. And it's like, just look through the book. And then they're like, wait a minute. Oh, they probably put stuff only in the sunlight so that way no Strigoi could read it. So they take us outside and sees that, oh, the only way that the Egyptians beat one of the 7 plagues, which references pretty much the 7 ancients of the founders of the Strigoi pretty much, or the most ancient ones, at least at this point in time. And one of them was sealed away or buried in a silver-lined, leather-lined coffin, sarcophagus, so that way he or she could not communicate with the rest of the Strigoi that they made, thereby letting them be kind of crazy and easier to kill. And it's like, you've already known that the Master can communicate and coordinate Strigoi for 2 seasons. Okay? That's an important kind of thing that you would want to disrupt. And you're now just getting to it. It just is really like basic stuff. Kind of goes back to my Walking Dead gripes in that they used Walker entrails to hide themselves, and they only in rare circumstances ever use it. It's like, it's a good thing, use it. If you know something, use it. Otherwise, you just are going to be using it as a plot point later on that doesn't it just kind of reeks of people not knowing kind of how they need to balance the story, and it's just like, okay, I don't mind stuff being slowly revealed, kind of like Outcast, but this is just like stuff that they'd known about and didn't really actively look into. It's like, they're kind of everywhere. We could probably disrupt their network somehow, which they got into in this episode with Ephraim and Dutch figuring out that a microwave can kind of mess with the communication system a little bit, but it does it in the beginning. I'm like, didn't they have Strigoi around and use a microwave at least at one point? I mean, they've come into enough contact with microwaves to have had this effect looked at and seized upon. Because they're showing it and it's like, oh, we're doing this. See, we hurt this one, we put on the microwave, and the other one doesn't react. Because they're showing that to Justine, and she's like, well, we need something now, like in a week. It's like, you don't understand how science works, do you? Because she's just, yes, it's good to try and show kind of a power-mad person trying to protect people, but she's just like not understanding how basic science and biological warfare kind of works. Because if you don't get your vectors locked down, that thing could spread from the Strigoi to humans, and you could just kill everybody. I mean, if you want that possibility, yeah, but I mean, you think about that. It's like, we kind of gave the Strigoi super aids, and they gave us super aids, so yeah, and it's like airborne and fluid-borne and every kind of other vector that we could think of. Because we were just trying to kill them as fast as possible, and of course it spread. It's like, yeah, you want to think about that and lock that down. Because they were even looking at the Strigoi, and it's like, oh, it doesn't look as bad as herpes, because they've evolved past Ephraim's bioweapon, and he's trying to figure that out. And it was interesting to kind of see them testing the microwave on the one Strigoi, and then figuring out to get out even with the microwave, which kind of diminished the whole kind of point of the microwave fine to begin with. It's like, okay, it kind of messes with communication, but you're still at nothing. And it's like, okay. Meanwhile, we've got Fett looking into the Strigoi. He's tagging him, which was like, okay, smart move, but he's doing it by himself. And then he goes in and finds them all under Central Park, kind of stupidly, seeing like other Strigoi dressed as people digging tunnels. And it's like, okay. It's just stuff that kind of comes out of nowhere, only conveniently to further the plot that they want to do. And he went in, and it's like, all this has been happening. They're in tunnels, they could be active, and it's just, you're okay? Of course, plot armor. Main character, important character, nothing bad's going to happen until the plot demands something bad's going to happen. And I also see Eldritch Palmer doing his stuff, and of course it kind of comes full circle because Eichhorst and his new associate that he's brought in are trying to bring something from Egypt, so that's probably the other ancient that they want as an ally or something, or to try and fuse with the Master or something. I don't know, because it's more like it doesn't, I don't know where it's going to be going. I mean, I'm interested to a degree, but it's more like, what are the writers going to do with it? Okay, and then that leads the Trakian, after they've seen that they gotta bury the Master, to making a deal with Eldritch to give him, I guess, slow doses of the white to prolong his life, or to help heal him a little bit, in exchange for information on the Master, which the Trakian found out that Palmer is not as high in favor with the Master as he used to be. So they're trying to pinpoint where the Master is, and it's weird because the Strigoi were pretty much shaken since the Master didn't have a physical form, but now they seem to be pretty much coordinated and all right. It's like, he couldn't have found a body that fast, or if he did, we should have had at least some time to see Master's back, and okay. But it's just like, it's not very well executed, and it's very weird paced, and the flashbacks just didn't fit, in my opinion. It would have been better to just be like, yeah, I kind of buried Strigoi kind of similar to this, and that would have been that. We could have had so much more other things, and it's just like, alright, they do what they do. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.